Hello and welcome to a Not So Awesome Review, and I'm here with...
Andrew, also known as the Tactical Nerdist on YouTube.
Yeah, link down below, hopefully, if I don't, forget.
I'll leave a comment bugging you to leave a link, and then I'll leave a link to my...
But then they can just click on your comment, so you
sure.
just saved me work. I ain't leaving your... So just look for his comment down below, and so... I don't think we have a name for this. So work in progress. But basically, I had a new show like 4 years ago. Was it like 4 years ago? I think
it was like 6.
Okay, it was like 6 years ago. Maybe 20. I don't know. That's way too long ago. There was
Probably like 6.
20?
Yeah, close enough.
I had a new show, and we're basically doing that again, but different. Got other things to talk about aside from news. And there isn't really that much news to talk about aside from the fact that Comixology is getting rid of the pull list, which a lot of people use in comic shops. I don't know if it's just like an American thing.
That I don't know, but if they're not familiar with it, you want to kind of tell them what it is. And since a lot of people don't really read comics, sometimes they're gifted them, or they'll sometimes randomly go to a comic book store and just start picking up random comics.
Well, for people who go to comic book stores on a regular basis, the pull list is basically... you sign up, say you want every single issue of Batman or every single issue of a limited series or whatever. You can basically... there was a website. It's still up right now. And what you would do is go through it. They would show you, alright, this is the weekly stuff coming out. And you can click on it. It adds it to a list on the website on your profile that's connected to your comic book store. And they know basically to... grab that comic book for you the Wednesday it comes out, and you go in and just pick up your pile of comics that day.
Which is helpful for the comic book store to not over purchase a certain comic and flood the market with it, and it's also good for you because you know you're going to get your copy in when you go in. Which was exciting because I'm new to comics. Like, I've only been collecting it for maybe like 2 years now, and when I found out about Comixology, it was through either you or another friend. And that was great. I could pick up the comics, and then I know the number system in comics.
And the prices.
And the prices, too. You could look at the prices and budget that way as well.
And probably the best part about it is browsing to see what's coming out that week, what new series is coming out. So they have like a list. It goes from like Archie Comics, Image, Dark Horse, a whole bunch of even indie stuff that you would normally not see in stores. Sometimes your store doesn't even actually carry that particular publisher, which is kind of annoying, but you at least you would know about the comic book. Sometimes you could preview the comic book and you can go through it, see what issues are already out and all that kind of stuff, and it's just now they're getting rid of it.
And it helped a lot of people that were getting into comics kind of stay on track of it too, because if you like the storyline, you could just have it pulled, and it'll pull the whole storyline for you, so you don't have to go in and be like, oh, is this Batman #2 the one I'm reading, or is this an older version? It actually helped a lot of new people get into comics. So now that they're getting rid of it, I think it's going to kind of limit the market of people actually jumping in and collecting it.
I think most of all, at least for me, what it would ruin is... because, like, a few years ago, when I was doing single issues, like, I would get... like, okay, there's this new series from Image. I'll pull issue number 1. I want to see what it is. I want to know if it's good. Like, on the website, it would give you a brief, like, synopsis of the story. And, you can decide from that. And now it's like, oh, I have to go to the store and kind of guess by the cover art. Because a lot of comic book stores don't let you open the comic books from
all comic book stores, pretty much, unless you know the person personally.
I think there's one in L.A., if I remember. They don't bag and board their comics, so they don't care if you open it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they do bag and board like other stuff, but not every single one. So it depends, but for the most part, you're not gonna be opening any comic books unless you're like at a Barnes and Noble or newsstand, and they happen to have it, and then they're not gonna have any really indie stuff anyway.
Which a lot of that indie stuff is getting really good too.
And another thing is you could pull soft covers and hard covers on there, so you don't have to remember the release date. And in comic book stores, they actually come out a week before Barnes & Noble and Amazon. So...
and see, if you're new to this whole thing, you wouldn't know that unless you actually use their pull list and stuff. But now, that information has to be passed down from somebody like you, who has a friend that doesn't know. You tell them something like that, you're like, oh shit, now I know.
Apparently they sent out an email. I have it pulled up here. They sent out two. They sent out one to comic book stores, and then the next day they sent out to the people who are subscribed to them, saying that they're going to discontinue on March 30th, 2018. And when I was reading it, I didn't really see that much of a actual reason them giving it.
Well, it's all speculation right now, right?
From what I know, they're keeping their digital retail open, which they sell comic books digitally to people. And I guess that's what they're focusing on. But at the same time, it kind of seems odd that they're getting rid of this, because... I mean, right now, comic books are probably the most popular they've been in, like, the last 20 years. I think they, like, started going downhill, like, in the 80s or something? Their popularity went down?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there?
I would guess somewhere around there, but I'm not 100%
I'm not 100% sure, but I know their popularity did go down for a while. We know, Marvel was bought by Disney and all this other stuff was going on. And... now that we're getting all these movies, they're getting more popular, it's becoming more mainstream for people to actually...
It actually became a legitimate franchise, because now, like you said, with the movies...
Because now if you go read a comic book and you're, like, at school, chances are you won't be called a nerd.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
And then comics are following that same timeline, too. It's like, well, we're going to base the storyline kind of off the movie, or the movie off the...
I have complaints about that, actually.
Yeah, that's a whole other video, but... Yeah, it's become more normal to read comics.
Yeah, basically... Now, if you're looking at a comic book in public, no one's gonna, like, judge you badly, because it's normal now.
Yeah.
Not that people should have been doing that in the first place, I'm just putting that out there. But, I don't know, like, the weird part is, like I said, it's getting all mainstream and stuff, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, you know what, we don't want to provide the service anymore. And it's not like it was a free service. For us, the customers, it was.
Yeah.
But I didn't even notice until I read the email. Apparently, the stores were paying Comixology to keep the pull list going.
So I'm assuming they paid a certain fee, and then that's why when you go apply for your Comixology profile, you could choose your own store. And if most comics book stores were paying this somewhat fee, I don't know if the price of it or anything, but I guess they were just doing that. And so it was a leisure to us to go do that, and it made it win-win for the comic book store. They pay a small fee, and then you have regulars come in all the time, and you have those regulars have your income go up higher, or your revenue go up higher, because they can actually get the stories that they want.
Now, the only good thing about this, for the stores anyway, is that they officially said that from now until they close on, I guess the last day is March 31st, I guess? That will be the last day, yeah. They're not charging them anymore. So it's free for these last, 6-ish months for them. But it's still, I don't understand why you would get rid of this. Especially if, now, like I said, we don't know for sure, but if they're really going to be focusing on digital distribution, I don't know how well that's going to go for them.
I think it might actually go really well for them. Because if I remember right, when you bought a comic nowadays, it had the little download code from them, and you could download it.
But that's from Marvel.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, like Marvel, I think they stopped it for a while. The only reason I'm saying I think is because I slowed down on single issues, and then I read one issue of Spider-Man, backed by popular demand.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know if it stopped for a while or not, but yeah, when you buy, most Marvel comics, they come with a digital download code, and, you can peel it off, type it in on Marvel, redeem, and then you get your digital comic, which is cool.
Yeah.
My question, I have actually a separate question about that we could talk about later, but does that devalue the comic book? Are people going to be pissed off in 20 years? Oh, the redeem sticker is gone. I mean, that code's expired, but the redeem sticker is gone.
I don't think that would affect the grade on it, to be honest. And even these days, if you bought a comic now and you wait 20 years, it's not going to be worth that much, because it's so flooded. Like you said, it's become more popular, so they're printing thousands of copies of it.
Now, the chances of you getting a comic book that's worth a whole bunch of money,
it's really slim.
It's still possible, but not with Marvel and DC. And even Image, although we have things like Saga and The Walking Dead issue 1 being worth a bunch of money, they're still not worth anywhere near as, what big Marvel and stuff like that.
But there's still that possibility, if it's still popular, 10 years from now, they might even reprint it and then just devalue the original.
I think the main thing is if you have, a publisher that does short prints. I don't remember the name of it, but there is a company that does really limited prints on their books.
Yeah.
And they tend to go up pretty fast, $5 to $10.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Within really that year.
Yeah.
So I would assume for indie developers, indie publishers, that yeah, okay, maybe those will go up in price, but chances are for Marvel and DC especially, like the Death of Wolverine, like I gotta buy 10 of these because they're not gonna be worth anything really in the future. There's gonna be too many of them. Same thing for, I think it was like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
There was a guy who bought like a giant pile of it because the movie was coming out that week and it was Marvel Now issue 1.
Yeah. I mean, I would have done the same thing recently because, like I said, I was barely getting back into comics for like 2 years now. Like, actually getting into it. I read comics when I was younger here and there, but I didn't really collect anything. So, me coming in, if I saw that guy doing it, I was like, oh shit, I need to buy 10 too. I gotta
copy him.
Exactly.
You got 10 more of those? It's like, I got 1,000 in the back. Only 1,000 left?
Yeah.
in all of the United States?
But on a side note too, I feel like this is gonna hurt a lot of comic book stores, to be honest. You know, I visit at least 2 or 3 different comic book stores and they all rely on this subscription kind of list going on.
Yeah, they're saying they're giving the stores 6 months so they can come up with their own thing.
I don't see that happening in 6 months though.
I mean, unless you got a programmer friend.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
They could do old school and do like an email, like an email list. They could do that.
Still, like
that's a lot of extra work too.
I mean, if they're getting rid of that, I'm sure there's a website out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Aside from them, that lists all the comic books coming out that week. Even though if it'll be on Comixology, I guess it'll all be these are the ones you can buy digitally.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of annoying. I have a feeling, I don't know, somebody should buy it from them, or someone's going to develop their own version of this.
Yeah, or something. Definitely. I think there's definitely going to be a copycat out there. And hopefully if that does happen, they'll integrate some other things in there to kind of make it a little more easier to use.
Was there an app before?
As far as I know, no. And it would have been great.
I know there is a Comixology app, but I don't know if you can add your
I've never
pull
used
list to it. My phone sucks, so I can't tell.
Yeah. But I mean, even if somebody made a new one, it'd be nice if they work with the comic book store to have like an on-hands count of their inventory, so when you go in it's like, okay, they have 5 left, I have
that would be good there. Like if you didn't pull it and you just notice it, because that definitely happens a lot, especially when it's like one-shot issues and you want them. A good example here is the Dark Knight's Metal thing.
Yeah,
you can subscribe to Dark Knight Metal, you'll get the whole series, but they're doing the individual ones for like the Flash version of Batman and them.
Okay.
Those ones aren't in a series. You have to find them individually and subscribe to them yourself. So, you know, if you miss one that week, or you just didn't look ahead far enough, or maybe they didn't add it when you looked ahead, then you just have to hope that they have it in store when you go.
Yeah, so there's definitely the opportunity for somebody to come in and actually take that spot that Comixology they're leaving open. So, I don't know. I really want the point of view as a comic book owner. Next time I go in, I'll ask them. Like I said, I didn't know until you actually told me about it or messaged me about it. So I was surprised because I was going to get back into it because I left it for a couple months because of like budgeting problems with me. But now that I know that's not there, I'm going to have to go in and talk to them like, well, what can I do to set up to make sure I get the comics that I need to get or want to get?
Yeah, it is definitely a convenience because then you don't have to go in every week to get your comic books.
Yeah.
You just, they're already there for you. You know they're there for you. You have an estimated kind of price that you can add up.
Yeah.
It was just an easy convenience. They were getting paid for it. Kind of seems like a waste that they're getting rid of it. Like I said, I really don't think them doing digital stuff is going to be good.
Yeah, well, to the consumer, like to us, it feels like it's a waste, but to them, they probably had some accountant come in or somebody to run their numbers.
They could be losing money on it for all we know, but point is, if they really are just going to focus on digital, Marvel's already doing a great job. They have the Marvel Unlimited thing. I believe Image has their own digital distribution. I know DC does.
Yeah.
So
what you're trying to say, they're going to have a twist or something beneficial.
Like, unless they get like an exclusive with all the indie guys.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't know how many people are so excited that they only want to buy their digital comic books.
Yeah, but I want to see their numbers too. See how many actually use their digital copy stuff over actually getting physical copies from a comic book store. Because I think if we saw those numbers, that would really show some insight of why they're doing this. Because I feel like their numbers are pretty good to the point where they're like, we could sustain ourselves off of it.
You guys aren't Microsoft. Don't pull a Microsoft and be like, we're going digital only. It's not going to happen with the comic books the same way Microsoft wants it to happen with games.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to go to the store and buy like a mini like 6x9 poster of the cover art of the comic book and have the digital code in the back.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting though. But at the same time, especially with Marvel, it comes with the digital code already in it.
Yeah.
And DC, I think they charge like $1 extra, and it's only special issues.
Yeah, and that you mentioned the whole Marvel thing too, because they're trying to go digital, but Marvel's already doing it when you buy the copy. So I'm like,
And the Marvel Unlimited app.
Yeah, so how much more money can they be producing over Marvel?
Yeah, it's like Marvel, I think it's like $100 a year for their higher tier one. It comes with like a figure and like a little box of stuff, and I don't know. It's just it's cool.
Yeah,
I'd like it. I'd want it. You can read like everything up to I want to say it's like 6 months.
Yeah.
So everything from 6 months ago gets added every month.
That's pretty good.
So you're only 6 months behind like stores.
Yeah.
And you're getting to read everything, so you'll always have something to read. I really doubt anyone's read through all of Spider-Man, X-Men, Captain America, and every single thing.
I don't know. There's some people with some free time, man.
Yeah, it's me.
I don't know. Do you think they might bring it back if they, or do you think they might be too embarrassed if it's a fail and might?
I think if it comes back, it's gonna be someone's bought it and changed the name.
But do you think it's still gonna have the same type of thing where the comic book store pays for it and we get it as free, or do you think it's gonna be?
If they start charging us,
that's what I'm saying. Well, would you be willing to pay for it?
No, it's not gonna make money. I don't think it's gonna work that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Because I'm like, well, what if they took the price off of the comic book store
and charged us?
Yeah,
I wouldn't use it, and I think a lot of people wouldn't use it.
Yeah, well, depending on the price, I think I'd still be willing to use it just
like
to have the convenience. I would go up to like maybe $5, but that's just me because if I make a pull list, it's like a pretty decent pull list. I could see paying $5 a month.
$5 a month, you get there, you're like, oh, I'm $5 short. I would have loved to have gotten that comic book today. That's $3.99.
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying. Anyways, next topic here.
Yeah.